So you want to try it again?
There we are. We are live. Good morning. Good morning. On this beautiful Sunday, we're going to be talking about the heart chakra today, day 4 of our chakra cleanse. And so I just want to welcome everyone. Again, just a little recap. This group was formed because I had a strong calling from my guides that it was time for all of us to get together to prepare the round table, just like the Knights of the Round Table that came together to prepare to protect. We are here to prepare for more transformation that is to come. I am Rebecca and my husband JB. Together we are dual dragons. We are holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whisperers. We work with many clients of very different levels of pain level, whether if it's physical or emotional. We use many modalities to be able to give them the results that they need, to be able to get back to what they were doing and what made them happy. And so that's just a little bit of us. JB, do you want to share anything before we get started with the chakra cleanse?
Definitely. Thank you all for joining us, whether here on Zoom or on Facebook. And this has been an interesting journey for a while. Normally it'll be I leading as we build up our wonderful name in the sense of bringing people's awareness as holistic consultants. And it's phenomenal for me to just step back and allow my wonderful soulmate, Rebecca, to give birth to this wonderful opportunity, not just for myself, not just for her, but for those who are watching and those who join us, so that we could have this moment together to kind of help remind you to silent, go in, one chakra at a time, some moment of 1 hour a day for 7 days, and to really kind of tap into now today the heart chakra.
Yes. Okay. So for the heart chakra, I always find this one as almost like the picture of the dual dragons. It has two faces. It either connects with our higher source, which is a very unconditional love, or it connects to our earthling love, where we put certain expectations to it or conditions. So I always find the heart chakra interesting on how we use it. You know, how people use their heart chakra, whether they love unconditionally or they love with conditions. And so with that, I want everyone, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I want everyone to take some deep belly breaths.
As you inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Second time, we're going to hold it in through your nose. Just listen to your heart pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through your mouth. One more deep breath. And just relax.
I want everyone just to imagine this beautiful emerald green turning clockwise over your heart. And as you hear the sounds, I want you to make it vibrate and grow bigger each time. If you see anything that doesn't belong there, blow it out with each breath or with each sound. And just take this time to really cleanse the heart chakra. Continue breathing. I want everyone to take another 3 deep breaths and
Exhale
slow.
through the nose.
So a little bit about our heart chakra. It's like I said, I find myself finding this duality with the heart chakra. You're either very loving and compassionate or you're not. And during this time, I would have to say this chakra feels very unbalanced sometimes as when I step out to my environment, or even through Facebook, I don't even have to step out anymore. Like when you go through Facebook, you see these mixed messages, and I could either start feeling really sad, or I could either just be really compassionate and just send out love. And I've been noticing one thing that I've been doing a lot more is just sometimes I'll receive messages that kind of like hit hard, and I'm like, oh, that didn't feel good. But then I was like, you know what? It's not mine. It's not mine to attach to. And I need to release it. And I just need to release it with love. And that's one practice that I've been, doing a lot more frequently, a lot more during this time. Just, I, we have clients on the tables dealing with this heart chakra, feeling lonely, feeling that they're being criticized, or they're jealous, or they just allergies. It says here unbalanced. You get a lot of allergies. I've been noticing a lot of people dealing with allergies that are just coming out and about, or their asthma's been acting up. I know my asthma has been acting up lately a lot more. So like I said, I've been feeling that disbalance in the heart chakra, where I'm all of a sudden I find myself out of breath and not being able to breathe for a moment. And then it's not until I work on myself and realize, okay, what is it that I need to let go with love? Because I know it's right here. And so sometimes I tend to, what other healers have told me, I tend to carry the world on my shoulders. And I need to understand that it's not my job to do that. It's not my job to try to take everything in. It's my job only to facilitate, always. So that's something I struggle with, because I just want to carry everything for everyone, but it's not my job to do that. I have to remind myself that. Would you like to share anything, JB, about the heart chakra?
I thought I was out of the heart. My lovely soulmate, my wife. It's been a journey with her, and I'm so grateful for her patience to help me realize the way I've been functioning has been, and that's really through my heart chakra.
We can't. You're breaking in and out.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the longest time, I've been struggling with that because I thought I was operating out of my heart when realistically I was operating my, what love. And I'm grateful for my soulmate, my wife, to be patient enough to provide the space for me to let it go, let it flow, and really to my heart. A great example would be uh, cleaning up the back. We've been talking about it for I gotta let it go. I gotta open up my heart. Until I was gardening, and we had a couple bushes in the backyard that they kind of looked pretty, but really they're full of thorns. There's another weed. A couple days, and it just kind of hit me that whether it's chakra alone, it's like a garden. You have to as often as possible remove the weed, and by making anything ugly, the weed definition is by
Take off the headpiece. I think your headpiece is making you come in and out. We can't hear you now. No, sorry. Yeah, something's. I think what JB is trying to say is, because I know what he's talking about. He had a concept of love before when we met. He had this concept that he needed to love everybody, and he needed to show people love, and but in reality, he was displaying it in a very disruptive way to himself and to others. And he didn't realize that until we had a deep conversation about it, because I wanted to understand where he was coming from. I could hear his message, but what I was seeing was not the message. And I questioned him. I said, you are sending out this message to everyone, but that's not what I see. And that's not what I feel. And so it took him a while to distinguish that the love he was trying to demonstrate and show was really for himself, not for others. And the one that he was showing was a pattern, what we would call conditioning, that he was taught from his biological father, which was not very healthy. So there was a lot of where he thought he was the most connected in his heart chakra, he was very disconnected, and that is still something till this day that he's working on with therapists and with other healers, opening up his heart chakra and to be able to experience feelings, because he's numbed them for protection, and it's understandable. Sometimes we tend to numb ourselves to protect, but at the same time, we are missing out. It's almost like living in a world, but you're dead to the world. And it's like, and how can you live and experience everything if you're going to be dead in that area? There's many lessons to be learned, and there's many lessons to experience through the heart chakra, even though it might hurt sometimes, or how painful it could be, or how you could, like what it says, how you could feel so lonely. But those are not really what it's about. It's about being able to walk in love coming from yourself and not expecting it from others. Do you want to try talking again, my love, to see if we could? Oh, he sent me messages. He goes, when I cut down the weed bush, it hit me. I must work daily to maintain my garden. That's the message she was trying to say. Mm. So we're gonna go on. So yes, what is love? And how are we showing love? And are we being true to what we feel and say? And I think that's where JB was coming from. Are we actually being true to what we're saying and what we're feeling? You know? And so this was something as growing up, I got a lot of mixed messages, you know, growing up, but those were not mine. Those were my family's. That was something of theirs. And it took me a while to realize that I didn't have to feel so shameful or oh my I'm a horrible daughter for not loving them the way they should be loved, you know. And so it was like, no, that was not mine to be attached to. So there was this, it's been an experience with the heart chakra. Like I said, it has that duality, whether it be unconditional or conditioned. And so with that, I really want to turn it over because Michael, Michael and Alice, whenever I'm around them, it's like I feel like this huge love coming from both of them, and the way they vibrate, and you know the way they work together. It's just, you know, like JB and I, we're power couples, you know, and the way we vibrate together, and to be able to just lead by example, like you say. Sometimes we don't even have to say anything, just by our own presence with our clients together, just feeling that vibration is enough for people, you know. So I just want to introduce them. They're founders of the Tamaki Sea of Wisdom. They are in Yuma, Arizona, and as we speak, they're holding sessions through their meditation school. They just started. It was his Michael's birthday on the 30th of September when he started his program, and he's doing a weekly course. So if it's something that really calls for you, I recommend to reach out to them. I'm in that program. I missed the first day because I had so many things leading up to my chakra challenge and that I needed to take care of, but I will be present there next week. So JB, do you wanna, they could unmute? So we could just hand over the microphone to them. I believe you could unmute Michael. No, we can't hear you. No auditory. Oh. Oops. There we go. There we go. We can hear you.
Perfect. So thank you so much for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, wait.
Can you hear?
You guys sound like you're, to me, it sounds like you're deep underwater.
Okay. What about now? Can you hear us?
Yes, now we could hear you. Perfect. Thank you.
Wow, that makes a difference. I had the phone on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. First of all, before we begin, I want to thank you, Rebecca and JB, for holding the space for this amazing challenge event, life transformational invitation. for what you guys are doing and bringing all of us together, these amazing, beautiful souls coming together. I truly want to take the moment to really honor you and JB for stepping up and really being a voice of, of, of love, a voice of truth. So thank you.
Thank you.
So for everyone here, thank you so much for showing up. You could be doing anything, but you decided to show up here. And this is following your heart. You are here for a reason. You're here because you're here because you feel something inside you. And we are Alice and Michael. And like Rebecca said, we are Samadhi Sea of Wisdom Meditation Online School. And we love to invite you to not just what Samadhi shares, but what life always expresses. That in life and in Samadhi, it's never about positivity. It's never about negativity. It's about something much more real, something much more raw, something much more authentic, something much more genuine. And that genuineness is you, the real you watching this video. Not the you that you think you are, not the you that you've been told you are, but the you that you truly are. The you that resides deep inside you, beyond your conception of you. And here at Samadhi, our mission, our goal, our purpose, our passion, our calling, whatever you want to call that, is to daily remind humanity of that originality. Not that facade, not that mask, not that copy that we've been conditioned to believe we are, but the real you. And to take time and allow that you to start maturing into the truth of who you are. And before we begin, and I want to pass it off to my wife, because I wouldn't be here, like Rebecca says, if it wasn't for my wife. I thought I was enlightened. I thought I was spiritual, but when we share a little bit about that, I'm gonna pass it to my wife, because the only thing I want to ask you to do throughout this whole time is not believe a word that you hear us speak. We don't want you to use your intellect to hear what we're saying. We want you to surrender and feel in your heart, feel what resonates with you. And if there is resistance, check if it's coming from your concepts, your ideas, your thoughts. And if it's coming from here, question it, go deeper. But if you're feeling resistance here, then transform it, because that is the gift that you've been given. You can transform anything. You are that powerful. So please do not believe anything that we're saying. Feel what resonates. Feel what feels true within you. Because this is something that we haven't been exercising, and this awakens the heart chakra.
Oh, I'm in such a beautiful place right now. Working on that heart chakra always does it. And Rebecca, I want to thank you for the way that you introduced us and for saying the reason why you picked us and what you feel when you hear us. And it really does touch my heart. It is said that when you are in this heart chakra, what is it supposed to bring? What is this part of us? You know, there's all of them are important. And this is the center. This is that center that brings compassion, unconditional love, beauty into our life. And sometimes for those of you, we're speaking to healers and we're speaking to people who may have never even heard of this. Why is it so important? Why is it so important to have that center aligned and open? It is said that the principles it brings, it comes from transformation, integration. This is where we integrate. This is where we go to when you usually said, oh, you know, follow your heart. Follow your heart. But if you're not integrated into who you are, and is that compassion there? Is that self-love there more than anything? It is also said that it's the bridge that brings the earthly and the spiritual aspirations together. So we are in this world, we're on this earth, but we're also spiritual beings. So when this part of you is fully cradled and loved and understood to a certain degree, you're able to bring those two worlds together. And I believe even through meditation, which is what we do, we can meditate all we want, we can clear everything that we want, but if we do not come from that unconditional love, from that place deep within ourselves, if we are not able to bring that out into the world, and you said it beautifully, Rebecca, sometimes you don't even have to say a word. It's just your smile, your presence, a touch. You know, something so simple can bring that out. So if this chakra asks us, it's our center for us to go to and integrate and really find that true essence of who we are. That is, and it's so meaningful to me because a great teacher told me one time, follow your heart, Alice, just follow your heart. When I was confused and scared and lonely, all those things that when your chakras are aligned, I was just a mess in my life. And I was told, simply follow your heart. So I needed to go in that place within myself and find that voice, find that true unconditional love for myself. And it brought me to the best love that I ever shared with everyone. And then here my husband, my soul partner. Yes. Well, that's where it all started. Yes. So for me, this is a very important chakra that is the center of everything that we are and everything that we do.
Yes. Thank you so much, love. One thing that I would love to add to that is that how do we access that unconditional love? Because like you were sharing earlier, Rebecca, we have dualistic polarities of love. And that is when we are trying to think ourselves to love. And the one thing that I can say from personal experience is the funny oxymoron thing about this is I taught her, right? I reminded her to follow her heart when I wasn't following mine. I was doing what you said about JB. I studied spirituality for over 15 plus years before I met Ali. And I thought I was semi-awakened. I mean, I talked to people, they would say, wow, Michael, you really like have this intellect, this awareness. And I could talk the talk. But inside I was angry. Inside I felt hopeless. Inside I felt not worthy enough to sit at the foot of what we call source, creator, the universe. I was trying to gain that worthiness and one day say, the universe will see me, the universe will approach me. And I believed this. And when I met her, she reawoken so quick. She mirrored that back to me and she said, wait a minute, why aren't you living what you talk? And that hit me. I mean, I've been hit all my life. And I've never gotten hit so hard in my life because I wanted to fall to my feet out of anger and have this tantrum of a child. Like, how can you tell me that I don't live what I teach, right? I've been living this I've been studying this for 15 years, the ego, right? In that moment, but guess what melted that away? It was a feeling of being recognized and appreciated, that I gave her that love. No matter if I didn't give it to myself, that I gave it to her. And then I said, you know what? I want this. So instead of the ego saying, I'm not going to listen to her, I don't need to teach her anymore. I can go my way. I can do my thing because that's what the ego does, right? That's when we're in the head. But when I felt the love in her heart, and it was more powerful than, and let me just tell you, speaking from a guy's perspective, I thought I was strong. I thought I was like unstoppable. I lived a life where nothing could stop me before. I didn't care who it was. And when I met Ali, her name is Alice, but my love name that I've created for her is Ali. So just so you know, when I say Ali, it's Alice. So I don't confuse the viewers. Until I met Ali, I didn't know what strength was. Because to die to who you think you are takes a tremendous amount of strength and courage and commitment. And when I started just letting go little by little, it was the hardest thing to do. But when I started letting go little by little, I realized I love myself a little more. And before I go on about that, is before I met Ali, I didn't want anything to do with love. I thought it was an illusion. I thought it was just people, trying to fake something so they could be happy, because I seen it all around me. So even our programming of love is conditional. We're loved only when we do things that are convenient or that make somebody feel special or good or validate someone or something. So that is what I feel is most of us are tapping into, that polarity of love that is not the full spectrum of love. Because the full spectrum of love, it takes a surrender. And this is what we call a mental death. When we really let go of what we think we are, that is the only way we could sit in the heart, because we can't force and will our way to be in the heart. I'm going to be in the heart right now. I'm going to be in the heart right now. Okay? I'm in the heart right now. Leave me alone. That it doesn't work. The more you will it, the more you enforce and you restructure, rewire more of this illusion that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not there enough. And the thing about it is, the funny thing about it is, and we're always in our heart. And the way that I can prove that for the viewers is that when we have a major disaster, we have people from different politics, different religion, different races, different, whatever, coming together, picking up stones, doing what they can to save their loved ones, to do what they need to do to help, to serve. That's in our nature. This is who we truly are. But why does it take a crisis for us to get there? And this is what I really wanted to talk about today, because it doesn't need to be a crisis. You can do this right now. You can breathe right now. You can exercise this skill, because it's a skill. You can exercise this magic, this gift that is always there. And the more you get out of your own way, because for anybody, when I started, I told my wife, and she loves when we remember this. I said, you know what? You say it, sweetie. You say it better than I do.
Which one? The one about dying?
Okay.
Okay, so we're mushy too, Rebecca. You're going to find that out. So even though we're talking about the heart chakra, and yes, how can we do this?
That's what, yeah.
And mainly, it sounds like it's very complicated, but it's simple, and it's dying to that ego, dying to that inner self that wants to be right. And it's not about right or wrong. It's about just being in peace. So when Michael is starting to court me, if you will, so I can be really mushy and old fashioned, when he started to like, well, Alice really, like, I don't know, she's a whole different category type of girl, right? How do I reach her? And so he's telling me one day as we're driving, he says, Allie, I know that the way that I am is not what would be someone like for you. So I will die. I will die 1,000 times if I have to. Every day I will die to that ego, to that anger, to that old Michael, because I want to be the man that you deserve. But the funny thing is that when he decides to do that, he thinks he's dying for me. But as he starts dying for that ego, starts dying to that anger, he actually was dying for himself, so that he could feel that unconditional love for himself.
Yes.
So what he was thinking was going to give a gift to me turned out to be the best gift for him. Exactly. So for everyone out there, we want to close with this.
There's a reason why.
Okay, I'll say a little something and then we'll close. Okay.
Thank you.
The only thing I desire to say on that is, it's so much easier when we say we're going to do something for somebody else because we love them.
Yes.
But if we really do it, so that you don't have to go through everything that Michael did, first do it for yourself.
Exactly.
Die to yourself. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Thank you so much, love. Because the thing is when we allow ourselves to get out of our own way, we win. But when we think we're being in the familiar, you're going to continue being a copy. I'm going to repeat that again. Being in the familiar, you're going to continue being a copy, because all you are is accessing that degree, that part, that aspect of you that you think you are. But if you step into the unfamiliar, you are guaranteed to know parts of yourself that no one can teach you. No teacher can teach you that. We can guide you, we can direct you back to yourself. But the one that opens that is you. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because until I've done that, there's a communication that exists within us that when you start being unconditionally loving to yourself, this is why we have this quote that in order to be truly selfless, one must be truly selfish. And we look at this in all degrees of life. You look at a baseball player, a musician, a dancer, a coach, a mother, any type of practice, any type of
Training.
of lifestyle. It takes practice. And if we don't dedicate ourselves to ourselves, I mean, nobody takes a shower for you. Nobody brushes your teeth, unless they, but what I'm saying is you don't expect anybody to do the hygiene things for you. Why would we expect someone to do the inner hygiene things for us? We've got this all backwards. So when we take the effort and the will and the opportunity, because it's a gift, no other species in the world can transform themselves. We are like at the forefront of that evolution, that we can transform ourselves. So when you take the time, because we want to talk about the heart chakra, but we want to give you some tools that you can practice so that you can get more into the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is beyond thought. The heart chakra is beyond, the five senses. It is in that state when you go into the unfamiliar, the unknown of you. The heart chakra sees you just as you are, not what you think you are. And when you surrender into the heart chakra, you get out of your own way, so to speak. You let go, you surrender. This heart chakra has much to say. And there's a communication. But just like when we don't stop talking, we can't listen. So the brain is continually talking. The brain is continually stimulated. When we stop that stimulation, the energy reserves relax. And they step into the heart chakra. And as you sit in this heart chakra, everything that you've practiced, everything that you've studied, everything that you've done enhances many, many times. And you wake up, because this is the key. You wake up the wisdom of what love truly is. Because we are so intellectual, but we have very little intelligence how to be human beings, what life is truly about. We can study all of life, but if we're not living the essence of life, we have conceptual thoughts, like JB was saying, but we have no idea what it feels like to live. It's like you go watch a movie, but unless you've experienced that, you don't know what it's about. So I invite you to take the time that even though you think you know what you know, invite yourself that maybe I don't know what I don't know. And the more you surrender to that, your heart chakra is going to feel that unconditional love, because there's no conditions to you. And that heart has no conditions for you. Because one thing you can guarantee is your heartbeat. As long as you're alive, your heartbeat beats. But your thoughts are up and down. But there's one thing is true, that the source of you is always, always showing up. So when you surrender to that, you realize who you always have been since before you were born. And we can talk about this all day, because Ellie knows that we can go deep into this subject. And I'm sure that, Patty, Rebecca, JB, Thomas, love you, Thomas, a great book of wisdom, a great expression of wisdom, reflection of wisdom, is that all of us here can serve and help you. So reach out to someone, because it's not just studying the heart. It's not just studying even the chakras, because the chakras are so infinite. It's studying yourself. It's letting you become the guru, the teacher. And all of these people here can help you.
Thank you.
So we love you. So get out of your own way. the advice that we want to leave you with is this: get out of your own way and let yourself lead yourself. Get out of your own way, the head, and let the heart lead you. And you will stop being a copy of copies, and you will be the genuine, self-conscious, self-guided, self-directed leader that you were born, designed, and destined to be.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, you could go ahead and unmute yourselves for Michael, Alice, for myself, for anyone. Let's see. I'm just trying to, I'm like checking to see if anyone's raising their hand. I want to share a little bit because you, Michael, you touched something, you triggered something in me when you said when you surrender. And I have to say that the greatest love and passion I feel is when I surrender, especially when I'm working on clients, because I don't go into the session thinking like, oh, let me see what greatness is going to come out of me. It's, what am I going to learn from this person? What message am I going to receive today from this person? Because whenever I touch a client, there's a huge message afterwards for me. And it's just like, and then afterwards, I just sit there in awe, like, oh, that was so beautiful. Just seeing the transformation, experiencing the transformation, and feeling it with that client. And that's when I feel the most love, because it's a love coming from a higher source. And when you're able to tap into it with a client or with your partner, it's like better than fireworks. It's just an explosion of something that occurs inside of me that I just like afterwards I have to like just rest and just, and you know, wrap myself around it like a blanket and just be able to just cuddle with it and say thank you.
That's beautiful that you shared that, because this is where, before I met Ali, when I was saying that I've done so much spiritual work, you know, I've practiced different modalities. Um, and the one thing that I realized that I was always in my head in the practice. I was always trying to work to get there. And let me say, with all due respect, it's like when we read a book, when we do these different things, the fact that you're putting effort into to do something, congratulations. Congratulations. But there's a point when we get to that point where it's just like when I used to train people to work out, is like the one thing that I would do is I would switch their muscle workouts. So one thing that they would work out a certain way, and then I would notice they would start plateauing. So an expert at working out or training people to work out, they'll tell you that when you hit a plateau, I don't care how much you work out, you're going to stagnate into that workout. So it's just like our energy. Our energy works out, right? And it's working. But if it gets stagnant in a certain place because it thinks it's there just by working that out, we're multi-dimensional beings. We're I don't even know the word to use, but we're beyond what we can even imagine. And when we think that this is what's going to get us there, then we start to atrophy, we start to plateau, because we make it a ritual, we make it something external. But when we start surrendering, even in the practice, because I'm not saying we can't practice, but let's just say like I memorize something, and because I think I memorize it, that's, with all due respect, that's what our educational system is based on, is memorization. The more you memorize, guess what? The more sophisticated, the more intellectual, the more, what do you call it? You're going to have the opportunities to open doors of success in the physical world that somebody that illiterate can't open up. So now we turn this around and we go inwards, and it's like, it's not how much work you do to go within. It actually works opposite. But it is a balance, because doing the work, but then surrendering. Because if you do the work and you don't surrender, then the ego is always going to tell you, like JB says, it's going to make you feel like you're there. and you're going to feel more enlightened and more awakened. But then when you realize some humble pie gets in front of you or within you, right? You realize, oh shoot, the whole idea, I thought I knew, but I didn't know. So the one thing that I wanted to share is when you were working on your clients, I love, for those of you that don't know us, we love to share micro macro. This is the language of life. When you can see the small as the great and the great as the small, the within and the out and the within as one, you can break apart any reflection of the message that's showing up for you or for someone for you, right? So when you're working with your clients, and I love how you said it, because when you're working with your clients, you surrender. And then as you surrender, it's like there's something working through you, with you. And that is the more genuine version of you. That is the genius within you. That is the source within you working through you. And we realize that the body is a vessel. The body is a vehicle, a component, right? But there's something much more deeper that is one with all of this, but it is degrees of consciousness. It is like when you mature in your awareness of you, like if I tell you right now, can all of you feel your ear? Yeah, you're now aware of your ear. But before you weren't aware of your ear until I told you, or your right toe, or your breathing, or you're aware you're breathing right now. So it's like, oh shoot, I'm aware of my breathing. Well, we're aware of this the whole time. So the more we take the time in the attention to be attentive to this awareness, the more we'll be aware of the more vastness of who we are. So when we surrender to that, this is the intelligence that we have felt and realized that you can't study this intelligence. It is a surrender to the intelligence. Because it's just like, a doctor can go and sew you up and put your bones together, but they'll tell you, we don't know what happens inside of there. We don't know. Like, we can't do that. And that is the wholeness of who we are. The magic that we are is like, we can all work together and help each other out. But when we surrender, that magic happens. So when you surrender to the client, it's like when you surrender to yourself, like you go work on yourself. But when you realize I surrender to that, it's like we tap into more of a mastery that we can start humbly tapping into more and more and more, if that makes sense.
Yes,
It's like a new
definitely.
language, Rebecca. It's like a new language. If I was speaking Chinese right now, like you all have the ability to learn Chinese. But if we don't take the time to learn Chinese, I'm going to sound like, right? And I'm not making fun of it. I'm just giving tonature. It's going to be a bunch of sound. You'll be like, huh? But the one thing that you can guarantee is if I vibrate with love and I'm speaking Chinese, you're going to feel the love because it goes beyond the sound. So when we start building the skill of this language that we have within us, that's when we're going to really emit this, like you said, when you see us, you feel this. That's why people, when they go into a room, they say, I feel their vibe. And that's when you said that we can tap into either part of the heart. Like when someone is very like disconnected with their heart, not disconnected, but unconscious of their heart, like you can feel the sadness. Like there's something that draws you to them, especially as healers. They're like, there's something going on with this person.
Yeah.
And it's also like when we start just showing up, and this is the key, that whenever we go through life and we're in judgment, is to catch ourselves, rewire that wiring because it's being wired every single thought that we think. When we catch ourselves and we surrender, we rewire the brain to say, wait a minute, there's this other faculty of the brain that can happen. But if we don't take the time, unconditional love is the balance of both of who we are, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the the light and the dark, whatever we want to call those words. It's like we're a full spectrum being. When we only tap into one area, then we're robbing ourselves from truly, truly stepping into like the fullness of who we are. And that to me, in my perspective, and like I said in the beginning, don't believe anything that I'm saying because I'm saying more than I'm saying. And I'm hearing more than I'm hearing. And even as I hear it, for me to put it into words, it's like telling you of another color that doesn't exist into this physical dimension to share about a color that doesn't exist. So that's when we reflect. This is the key. When we reflect and we contemplate and we rest and to ask ourselves, what does this mean to me? We, we let go of perspectives. We let go of concepts and ideas. And that's our job. When we hear a message, that's why in school we weren't allowed to question because we're just told what to think. But here we're giving each other permission, not that we need it, but for all intents and purposes, for communication, we're giving each other, we're allowing each other permission to think for ourselves, to question for ourselves. And I believe that that is the truest way to awaken the heart chakra, is when we question. Because if we don't question, we're just recorders.
Yes. So I want to take this time because it's time to do our Ho'oponopono for everyone just to go deep within yourself. And we're going to repeat the mantra. As I say it, you will all echo it. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I release you. I accept you. And with that, I want to share for any couples. This is a ritual that JB and I do when we shower. And we like to shower together because water for us is a beautiful element for us to just kind of cleanse away anything that's within me or whatever's within himself or whatever's affecting us as a couple. And so one thing we love to do is under the water, with my right hand, I'll hold the back of his neck. We're face to face. And with my left, I'll go into his heart chakra. And as we're under the water and we're each doing, he has the same thing, right hand behind my neck and his left on my heart. And we'll repeat this mantra. We'll say it, I love you. And then he'll say it, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I release you. I accept you. And I love that last part because releasing you for me at that moment feels like I'm releasing any negative or ill feeling that I had towards myself or to you. And at the same time, I'm accepting you as you are. So that's the whole purpose of those last two phrases that we added in there, is just to release everything that we're holding onto each other or onto ourselves, but at the same time accept each other. So I just wanted to share that little practice that we do as a couple, that I find it very powerful, and it just helps us to begin our day and end our day always. So with that, I just want to thank everyone that has come to join us within this hour. Anybody that's watching through live, thank you. And anyone who watches later on in the replays, thank you again. And I hope you're really getting something valuable for yourself to be able to share with others. And if you know of any other person that would really benefit from joining this group, go ahead and invite them. I want to open, I want everyone to know that this page and the purpose of this is as it's an open room for open communication, for all of us to be communicating within each other. And, and if we need a lifeline from somebody, know that you could reach that lifeline within this page. So I just really want to thank everyone. I know JB soon will be stopped because he still doesn't have any audio. So that's why I'm doing the closing. But he will soon stop this recording. He will be stopping soon the live on Facebook. And we're still going to stay here within, 8 to 8:30 for a little private room discussion. And you're welcome to stay. But we also understand that if you need to step out, we send you with love. And today I just want everyone to just take that time today just to kind of go into your heart chakra today. And if something comes up to share on the page, share it. If anything happens or occurs, there was we were watching a series yesterday, and there was something interesting. The guy said, he said, did you know that the heart is more unique than a fingerprint? Because everyone has a different heartbeat. We all think it beats the same, but it doesn't. And I thought that was interesting. And he had this little machine to help this blind girl to just hear the differences of all these hearts. And she was picking out like, oh, this heart is walking, this heart is enjoying their food, this heart is, and I'm like, wow, imagine if I could hear everyone's heartbeat. If the whole world just went silent for a moment and I could just hear everyone's heartbeat, how unique that sound would be. So it really, that brought me into what was to be said today. Okay, so thank you again, everyone.